going on, everybody? Welcome to the RBS Cinema Podcast.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
This is Sparta! I'm thinking I'm back.
Why so serious?
Avengers!
Assemble. I'm Batman.
You better lawyer up, asshole. Because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
I'll be back.
You shall not pass!
RBS.
Lovely.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of RBS Cinema. This week's episode, we are talking about Inglourious Basterds. I'm your host, Devin. And with me, as always, is co-host Jack.
I'm still Jack.
And, boy howdy, is this a long movie with a lot of dialogue in it.
To be honest, I thought it was longer. I thought this movie was like 3 hours long.
Yeah, because I remember you telling me about that it was like, I thought it was going to be like over 3 hours long. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's only 2.5.
It's just that like Tarantino movies just feel long because there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's either that a lot happens or it's just a lot of dialogue that happens in between scenes.
Slow parts.
Yeah. So, not that, he's not a good filmmaker or director or writer or anything like that. It's just long, overly drawn out. Like
it's a lot of character acting, a lot of dialogue.
Oh yeah, and some of them are actually like really good. I just can't think of any that are off the top of my head, but like there's a lot of like good long scenes that happen like in Pulp Fiction, for instance, and then it doesn't just like cut to an action scene, like kind of like when Samuel L. Jackson and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but the other guy that's in Pulp Fiction,
John Travolta.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I just woke up. I'm not all with it right now. I had a long night, and they're in the car and they're talking to the one guy in the back seat.
Yeah.
And so John Travolta has his gun like pointed at him, and he's just casually talking with him, and then he just like accidentally pulls the trigger and blows his brains out.
And I think I shot him. I was like, why the fuck did you do that?
Yeah. And then they go to the Tarantino's house, and then he just goes like, hey, like, we need your help. So
and then
it's like scenes like that it's just like, okay, yeah, like not a lot is happening. It's just mindless dialogue. You're just sitting there, especially now. It's all like, okay, you're just sitting there mindlessly scrolling on your phone. You're like, I've seen this movie 100 times. And then all of a sudden something happens. You're like, holy shit, I forgot that was going to happen.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I love good dialogue and good
character
building. Like there's a lot of tense scenes in some of these Quentin Tarantino movies. Like when I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for the first time, which is the most recent one, I did not know what was going on. I didn't really understand, because a lot of Tarantino's films, or like at least 3 of them, are period pieces. Yeah. Right. So like this one's obviously in Nazi-occupied France. Django is in the South during or before the Civil War. Right. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is in the 70s in California.
Yeah.
And the last scene is at Sharon Tate's house.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I
didn't realize that until the very, very end.
Yeah, because like I remember when that movie came out and I watched it. I didn't go see it in theaters, which is a shame, but I have it still, and I only watched it the one time. But I watched it and I was all like, wait, didn't Sharon Tate die? And then I started doing research on it, and I'm like, yeah, like she died. Like that was the point of when she died.
Yeah.
But because that of how Quentin Tarantino's like brain works for changing history, like in this one where they just kill Hitler instead of like the Nazi regime falling and stuff, where in this case it's like Dalton and his stuntman, they actually like basically unalive these guys that are the Marilyn Manson like cultivists and stuff.
Charles Manson.
Charles Manson. Good old Chucky Manson himself.
Good. Like that when that hit me, I was like, oh, that's what's going on, because I'm not gonna lie. I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because I knew it was the movie that it was the meme with Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen. And I was like, oh, and so like
he goes like, "Here I come."
Here I come.
That's the only thing I knew about it. And I was like, oh, it's just from that movie. So I decided to watch it.
Oh,
Man,
it's from this movie.
Yeah. No. It wasn't even that. I was not. I knew what movie it was from. I heard it was good, so I watched it, and I was not disappointed. I like most of what Tarantino has to put out, but this one, I can't decide whether or not this one or Django is my favorite.
Yeah, it's kind of a toss-up.
I need to go back and watch Pulp Fiction all the way through again. Decide if that one is. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson is just great.
Oh yeah,
in Pulp Fiction. So, but like, Reservoir Dogs too.
Yeah. The reason why that I was going to bring this up was because I was scrolling through Facebook one day, and I think it's funny now because now I'm starting to get like behind the scenes stuff for like actors talking about characters or whatever. Michael Madsen, I saw a video of him talking about Reservoir Dogs, and like, of course, Quentin Tarantino directed that. So he was directing him to be like the scene where they tie up the cop and he cuts off his ear and stuff.
Yeah.
He was talking about the fact that Tarantino was directing him to be like just like dance and whatever. And he goes like, okay, well, are you guys going to add in music or anything? And they go like, yeah, like we'll add it in post or something like that. And he just goes like, okay. And so like he doesn't know how to dance. And so that was all improv. And then he goes like, yeah, like Stuck in the Middle with You isn't really like a dancing song, but I thought it would be like good if I just like made up a dance and just started dancing that way. And that's just what they took for the film. And then like when I cut off the guy's ear and I talk into it like, hey, can you hear me? And then laugh. And he goes like, that was improv too. Because like they originally just wanted me to cut it off, look at it, look at him, and then throw it away. But I thought it would have been a lot better methodically to be like, hey, like, can you hear me? Like, is this thing on? And then throw it away.
Hey, what's going on? You hear that?
And so then they kept it in the script, or not in the script, but they kept it in the movie. I was like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, is improv that you really wouldn't think is improv, that is just like, oh yeah, like that's actually really good that they added this in the movie or in the script. And it's like they didn't add that in the script. It wasn't a part of the
Tarantino
script.
really gives a lot of creative liberty to the actors that are in his movie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like this movie wouldn't even exist if Tarantino didn't stumble upon Christoph Waltz.
Right.
You know?
Oh yeah, I was reading about that too, because I was just like, the scene towards the end when Christoph Waltz is like strangling the actress.
Yeah, Von Hammersmark.
Yeah, and so because he found out that she was at like the giant shootout at the bar.
Yeah, because she's a traitor. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I remember that like. I can't remember if it was her or if it was Quentin himself or something like that, but like I can't remember specifically, but I think that they authentically wanted him to look like that he was like strangling her, and they went the extra mile of doing that. And so like she was fine and everything like that, but like but I just can't remember. So I went on to the trivia part of IMDb and there wasn't anything about that in there, and I was like, okay, well, whoever does this probably didn't realize that or didn't put it in for whatever reason or something. But yeah, I did read about that. Tarantino, I don't know, I lost my train of thought. What did you say before I started going off onto that?
No, I was saying that that this movie wouldn't even exist if he.
Oh, that's right.
If they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't find him because Tarantino wrote this character Hans Landa.
Yeah.
To be this, he is not even deceptively. He is so freaking intelligent.
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
The fact that he's multilinguistic is such a big part of his character that he speaks multiple different languages, and it was. I remember Quentin Tarantino saying that wasn't going to make the movie if he couldn't find somebody who
Right.
fit that archetype. That he was just going to, publish the script and just move on, do something else.
Yeah.
And then maybe hopefully someone else will
do it and
will
whatever.
find somebody. But like then they found Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
And here's this guy who was mostly in a bunch of German B movies, and
Yeah.
he was in a bunch of like TV shows and stuff like that. He had never done movies before.
Oh yeah.
Like a movie like this before, and they come in. He does his audition, and then he thanks them for his time, and like their time is like, no, thank you. We now have a movie that we're going to do.
Right.
So
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say, was that like this movie wouldn't have happened if they didn't discover Christoph Waltz.
like
So
I'd like to think that even though the movie is called Inglourious Basterds and it's about Aldo Rain and his squad,
yeah,
I still think the main character. Well, you can make a couple arguments who the main character is. You could say it's Shoshana. You could say it's the Bastards. But I think you can make a strong case that like it's Hans Landa who is the main character of this film.
yeah, because we're first introduced to him in the farm scene in the beginning, and then like he's just like following up like they did before, of going like, hey, like we've had these farmers that they're Jewish, they're on the run, trying to find out where they might have gone, and he's so like very to the point, and he's not
But he's very
hiding.
casual.
Yeah, he's very casual, and like especially when the farmer goes like, hey, like, do you mind if I smoke? He goes like, it's your house, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
And
he's very accommodating.
Yeah, and then he also like asked if he could smoke his pipe, and he just goes like, yeah, sure. And like then they discover that the Nazis, the Jewish farmers or family is underneath the floorboards.
But like even before that, he goes on this whole argument to this French farmer that is housing the Jews, that he's saying, well, I'd like to compare to the people of German as
Rats.
The people of Germany, the German people as they are predators, they are hawks. Whereas the Jewish people are more like rats.
Yeah, because he's basically alluding to the fact of being like, okay, if a rat were to come in here right now as we're talking,
you'd kill it, right?
Would you greet it with the saucer of your own milk? And
not because you hold any sort of hostility; it's just what you do. It's just it's a pest,
and it's the same thing of, and he's comparing the rat to a squirrel. It was like, you don't feel anything towards the squirrel. In fact, you would probably feel a little bit better about the squirrel, but because that it's a rat, you feel more hostile towards that because of the fact that it's a pest.
Right.
You don't see the squirrel as a pest because it generically is a pest, but you don't see it that way.
And then he goes on to explain like, oh, I'm not like other people, members of the German army. I'm not other members of the Nazi army.
Yeah.
Right, where it's like most people would just look in sort of the normal places you would find them, but I'm different because I know how to get inside the mind of the people that I'm looking for. So and that's how he knows that. He knows exactly where they are.
Right.
He probably knew before he got in there.
Right. Because like he talked about how like I've been doing this for so long, I know how they think and how they operate, because like a hawk would go into places that they would normally look. So like the barn, the cellar, the basement, the attic, all of those hiding spaces. And I'm so good at my job that I know where they could possibly be hiding, if they are hiding somewhere.
And I love, there's so many scenes in this movie where you think for a second that, oh, they're going to get away with it. Like there's like, it seems like a good plan, you know, like, and like, there's no way that, like, it seems well thought out as like, if they just do it, this and this and this, that's not going to happen. Yeah. And then just the tiniest of wrenches gets thrown in there. Oh yeah. And then you're like, okay, how are they going to get out of this?
Yeah,
like,
because
is he gonna find it? It's like it's that tension. Yeah. That really is what makes a lot of, like, I think 3 of these scenes that are in this film is like, it's obviously the opening scene, right, which is great, the restaurant scene, and then the bar scene, right? Those are the 3 scenes that you think about most, I think, when you're thinking about what are the most tense moments? What are the moments where you're just so locked into what's happening, and you're starting to pay attention to the little tiny details, and you're just kind of, okay, let's get on with it. Come on, when is he gonna stop talking?
Yeah, when is this gonna pop off, and when is it gonna go?
And it's not that you want him to stop talking because you're bored, and you want the movie to move on. It's moving slow. You're like, okay, I want this to be over with so that we can move on to the next thing, and hopefully he'll go away and he'll be off the scent, so they can continue on with their plan.
Yeah, because what I was going to say about the beginning scene was that when Christoph Waltz is talking to the farmer, he goes hey, no, I want to come back. You don't want me to be back here, so I'm just doing my investigation, and hopefully I get the information that I need from you, and then that way we can close this case.
He sounds just like a health inspector.
Yeah,
really.
and then he continues to go on at the end of the conversation of being okay, are they here? And he goes well, if you tell me where they are, if you know where they are, and you point me in the right direction, then I will leave you alone. I will give my superiors the information that you gave me, and then we will no longer come back.
Yeah, we won't bother you anymore.
Yeah, we won't bother you or your family. We'll leave you guys alone. And then the farmer breaks down and he starts crying because he goes if I tell him where they are, that they're hiding in my floorboards, that they will leave me alone, I would rather have that rather than having to harbor these people.
And the thing that ties this whole scene together is that they're speaking in French, and
originally they're speaking in French, and then they switch to English.
That's what I mean.
And then because Christoph Waltz just goes they can't understand me.
I'm assuming that they can't speak English because
I don't hear anything underneath them, because he does allude to that they're underneath them in the floorboards, the farmer does, and then he just goes okay, so they're underneath us, and then he walks over and he starts pointing where they might be as they're talking, and he just goes they're right there, right underneath you.
But it's more about the power dynamic that Landa has whenever he's talking through the use of language.
Yeah.
That he casually mentions that, I don't want to be rude. You're a native French speaker. I only practice it. So if you'd I'd like to stop offending you by maybe potentially saying things wrong in French. I'd rather speak English. And so you speak English, I know. So, and the farmer not wanting to be rude to this Nazi soldier that just walked in, this Nazi colonel that just walked into his house.
Yeah.
And he wants him to get out of there as soon as possible. He does whatever he wants, basically,
right.
just to make this conversation end faster.
Right.
So
just to
by
get him
doing
out
that,
in a way and stuff.
Landa has now successfully prevented the people who are listening for the French language to not be able to understand what they're saying anymore.
Right.
It's like if we were speaking English and all of a sudden the person upstairs starts speaking Japanese. Like there's unless you're fluent in or maybe not Japanese, but if they started speaking Arabic,
right.
It's now I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a completely different, not completely different, but it's one that they're not familiar with. So it lends itself that Landa is so good with language to be able to put himself in positions where he is able to extract more information and also prevent people from trying to figure out what he's up to, basically.
Yeah.
He's just genius character.
Oh, yeah. So, speaking of, before we get any further into the movie...
Yeah, sorry. We
let's get into the vitals here. So, we'll talk about what the movie is specifically about, and then who directed it, starred in it, wrote it, all that boring stuff, and then we'll talk more in depth about the movie here. So, we got... main plot is in Nazi-occupied France during World War II, a plan to assassinate Nazi leaders by a group of Jewish U.S. soldiers coincides with the theater owner's eventual plans for the same. So that's pretty much what it's about in a nutshell, and that is pretty much what happens in the movie.
Yeah.
For 2.5 hours, because it's all set up, and then they're all like, okay, and then like, was it like the last like 45 minutes is them setting up the theaters scene?
Yeah.
So we got writer and director Quentin Tarantino. He's the only one that did that. Then we got stars Brad Pitt, who plays as Aldo Rain, Diane Kruger, who plays as Bridget von Hammersmark. Smock. Okay, I couldn't see it because it was like taken off. And then we got Eli Roth, who plays as Sergeant Donnie Donowitz, or the Bear Jew.
Yeah.
And then Melanie Lawrence, who plays as Shosanna Dreyfus. Then we got Christoph Waltz, like we mentioned before, as Hans Landa. Michael Fassbender's in this movie. He plays as Lieutenant Archie Hecox.
Yes.
Daniel Bruhl, who I forgot was in this movie as well. Frederick Zoller, who plays as Zola.
Yeah.
And Marvel. Got Till Schweiger, who plays as Sergeant Hugo Stiglitz. Let's see. Surprisingly, do you know who else was in this? Michael Myers.
Yes.
Well, Mike Myers, I should say.
I was surprised by that because
I forgot that he was in this. I was all like, oh yeah, that's right. Because like when it got to that scene, hey, knock it off. When it got to that scene with Michael Fassbender, and I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot that he was in this movie. And then immediately opens the door, and then there's just freaking Mike Myers standing there in makeup, and I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot he was in this movie too.
Yeah, because you're so used to him speaking in like
British, or not British, but like
I'm used to hearing his voice as Shrek.
Yeah,
and
Scottish.
But then I also imagine him has the look of Austin Powers,
right?
Know? So it was very different seeing him like that in this scene because he's speaking very, very formal British. So
yeah, 100%. And then we'll move on to taglines here, Jack, because I got some for you.
Yeah, we went super out of order with this.
No, it's okay.
So I'll talk about this film.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Nazi-occupied France.
Yeah.
Which you could say that he got the first part of that as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So
I don't know. I feel like,
but that's kind of a stretch, though.
It's kind of a stretch.
You haven't seen war until you've seen it through the eyes of Quentin Tarantino, which is true.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't specifically show the war happening.
No.
It just shows a group of U.S. soldiers that they're going around and basically...
They're like special forces.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. And they're just taking out Nazis.
Yeah.
So that's all that they're doing.
Which is cool.
Yeah, if you need heroes, send in the bastards. Which is a great tagline. Melanie Lawrence is a bastard.
I believe it's Melanie Laurent.
Maybe. I think so.
It's French.
But yeah, I think that there's like a few of them that they're just like characters. It's like Brad Pitt is a bastard, Eli Roth is a bastard, and like that's just that's like some of them.
Like that.
Yeah, it's just like character posters. An inglorious, uproarious thrill ride of vengeance. So,
yeah,
it's pretty good. This is a quote: "We're in the Nazi killing business, and cousin, business is a booming."
Yep.
So that's a line from the movie, which I will get to later, because it's pretty good. A bastard's work is never done. Can you Americans speak any other language than English? I love my unofficial title precisely because I have earned it. Let's see here. Last one I got is another quote from the movie. I don't know why there's so many quotes that are taglines in this movie.
Because they're good quotes.
Yeah. I mean, like the first one is like, we're in the Nazi killing business, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing. Because, Marcel, my sweet, we're going to make a film just for the Nazis. That's it. That's it for taglines.
Kind of a meta tagline there a little bit.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But, yeah, so basically for this movie, it's actually super good. I don't have a whole lot on it. But there are some stuff that I really enjoyed about this movie, like Brad Pitt, like all the people that are in this movie are just like great. I want to get that across the board.
After watching a bunch of movies with Brad Pitt in them, I am he's such a good actor, man.
Oh yeah,
Because he can do a lot of different things. He can play a lot of different characters.
Yeah, and he really wanted to, because I was reading this too, that like, what was it? This was the Weinstein Company that made this movie too. Like they were a producer for the movie.
Yeah.
And Brad Pitt wanted to be in this movie specifically because he wanted to work with Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Even though he really hated Weinstein.
Yeah.
And he just goes like, because there was like a public outrage that happened between him and Weinstein where he like messed with his ex-girlfriend at this point, Gwyneth Paltrow. And he didn't like that, so like he hated Weinstein for that.
Yeah.
And so
wait, Brad Pitt dated Gwyneth Paltrow?
Apparently.
Man, that's kind of weird because
I know that he dated Ashley Tisdale. I don't know why she popped into my head, but before Angelina Jolie, there was what's her face from Friends?
I
can't remember. It's still early for me. I'm waking up.
I don't know. I haven't seen Friends, so
I don't know. What's her face from Friends?
But
I don't remember. But
I was saying that's funny because Gwyneth Paltrow, she's Pepper Potts, and specifically in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Aldrich Killian kind of looks like Brad Pitt. A little bit. The guy in that one.
Yeah.
Like when he gets later on in the movie.
Right, when it becomes handsome.
I bet that was kind of weird. It's like,
He kind of has like the slick back dirty blonde hair.
Yeah, that's what it's like the hairstyle.
Yeah.
But Brad Pitt, like, I love him in this movie. I love him in Moneyball. I think
Moneyball's good.
Moneyball is one of my favorite movies of all time.
How can you not be romantic about baseball?
I could rewatch Moneyball so many times.
And
not necessarily because it's a sports film, because I'm not that into baseball.
Yeah.
But I just like the concept.
Oh yeah, I liked movies like that where it's like Moneyball or The Big Short and stuff like that. Like
yes,
those are
he's in that movie too.
Yeah, and it's all like those movies are actually really good, and like I enjoy those movies a lot, and like I still need to see Air, because it's all about like the Nike Air Jordans.
I saw that movie.
So
it was okay.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have too much attachment to it because I don't watch basketball and I don't.
Right, and it's all like, okay, I only know like Michael Jordan, and like the Nike shoe is inspired by like his athleticism in the game and stuff like that. So,
Matt Damon is pretty good in that movie though.
Yeah.
So, but like he's just such a versatile actor, and I love his decision to make him from like Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
he nails the Southern accent so well.
Yeah, which speaking of, I have this written down as like the beginning of the movie after the initial scene.
Yeah.
Of like the farmer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was Brad Pitt talking to some privates, and he's like talking to them about like, hey, like, because I have the first part of this written down because like I don't have the whole thing written down because it's a lot of dialogue. It's like, we're going to be dropped into France dressed as civilians, and once we're in enemy territory as a bushwhacking guerrilla army, we're going to be doing one thing and one thing only: killing Nazis.
We're going to be doing one thing and one thing only: killing Nazis.
No, he says killing Nazis.
Yeah.
Because he again a Southern accent. It's
right.
Like,
and I'm like, that line goes so hard.
Yeah.
Like that whole dialogue in the beginning of Brad Pitt where he just goes like, I'm Aldo, what was his last name?
Lieutenant Aldo Rain.
Yeah, and he goes like, I am, because I have the quote written up here. Yes, and I'm putting together a special team, and I need 8 soldiers. He goes like 8 Jewish soldiers, to be exact. And he was talking about how like he is Apache himself, and he goes like, yeah, here it is. Now I'm the direct descendant of the mountain man Jim Bridger. That means I got a little engine in me, and our battle plan will be that of an Apache resistance. We'll be cruel to the Germans, and through our cruelty, they will know who we are, and they will find the evidence of our cruelty in the disemboweled, dismembered, and disfigured bodies of their brothers we leave behind us. And the German won't be able to help themselves but to imagine the cruelty their brothers endured at our hands and our boot heels and the edge of our knives. And the German will be sickened by us, and the German will talk about us, and the German will fear us. And when the German closes their eyes at night, and they're tortured by their subconscious for the evil they have done, it will be the thoughts of us they are tortured with. Sound good?
Yeah,
and they're like, sir, yes, sir.
It's such a great concept. Of like, it's like you want to see that happen because you like in history you see the history of the Holocaust and like what the atrocities done by the German army in the 1940s during World War II. Yeah, and you're thinking to yourself like, man, it would have been. It's why listening to war, like if you ever get the chance to listen to a war story from an American soldier back in that time, like it's very cathartic for him to go out of his way. Like, okay, we're not going to just do a standard war movie. No. We're going to highlight what it would be like if the shoe was on the other foot for Nazi soldiers. Right, because we're going to do like the most ironic thing possible, and we're going to have it be a bunch of Jewish American soldiers. Yeah, who we don't even really get too much information about who they are. Maybe a couple of them, but it's not important about who they are as much as the fact that they exist and they're out there, they're killing Nazis, and that Adolf Hitler knows exactly who they are and what they're doing. Yeah. And it's funny to see them on the back foot. Right, because like you only see more specifically about like the soldiers that are in the war and like they're shooting and like basically taking out the Nazis and stuff like that. But you never really see anything like this where it's just like a small group of guys that just like casually go into Germany or they go into France and then they start like basically taking out like Nazi regimes or like they're starting to take out like specific people and stuff like that. Because like I want 100 Nazi scalps.
I was gonna say that too of going like
every man here has to give me 100 Nazi scalps.
Yep. And I want my scalps, and all y'all will get me 100 Nazi scalps taken from the heads of 100 dead Nazis, or you will die trying.
And I want my scalps. And all y'all will get me 100 Nazi scalps.
But I also wanted to point out, too, of going like, I don't know if you've seen this movie, but the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It has Henry Cavill in it. It's got Alan Richardson in it as well, and they're headlining the movie. But that is also based about World War II. Yeah. So, and it's actually really good, and I bought it on 4K, and it's a really good movie. If you guys haven't seen that, check that out.
Das ist kein Hund. Das ist meine Frau.
It's very good.
Like so. if you could name just like a genre, an era to do a film in, if like more than likely a movie about World War II is going to be relatively popular. Yeah. Because there was a good stretch in the 90s and the 2000s where all they like just movie after movie was coming out about World War II. Because, you know, it's around the time of, like, 9/11, so we have to reinforce American patriotism.
Yeah, and like, we have to give hope, and, like, you know, we have to basically now make movies about, like, soldiers taking out, like, terrorists and stuff like that.
American Sniper.
Right. So, like, it's to enforce the fact that it's all like, okay, well, we're not going to take this line down. This is what we would like to do, but we can't. Yeah. Or, like, here's, like, you know, like what you said about American Sniper, of being like, let's tell this true story about this one specific person that went through this sort of thing and their whole, like, story and stuff like that. Or it's also the same thing of being like, Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah, where he was just a medic and they all wanted him to be like a soldier, but that's not what he wanted to do. And they tried to enforce that onto him, and like he was going to leave the army, and like he just ended up being a medic the whole time. Yeah. So, and like he never gave up and whatever. I never saw that movie, but that's what I know about it. I do too. Like it's one of Andrew Garfield's like best performances I know. So, But here's another thing that I also pointed out too was like Hugo Stiglitz or
Yes.
Stiglitz. I
Hugo
was
Stiglitz.
like, he looks like the guy from Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
I was all like, wait, and then it was bugging me for like the longest time. I was like, he looks like the one guy from that one game, and I was like, I couldn't put my finger on it. It was Wolfenstein.
Okay.
Because like I have it for my Xbox, so and I've played it and it's good and everything. But
I
like,
mean, yeah, he
which is a game that rewrote history too.
Yeah.
Because it would be like, oh well, what if the Germans did win the war?
Right.
Then what would happen? So
I really liked Wolfenstein when I played it. I thought it was a very interesting concept. I like alternate history sort of, like what if this happened, this and this and this, like
Right.
very there's a lot of room for artistic, like not artistic, well, there's a lot of good stories to tell from telling history in a different sort of way, like this movie.
oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, they you see the soldiers and they're like they round up a bunch of people in like this little ravine or something like that, like this little like
Yeah, it's like because Brad Pitt calls it like a ditch.
Yeah, it's
pretty
like
much.
a ditch, yeah.
But it's like underneath a bridge and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think you could infer that it is a ravine. It just doesn't have like a whole lot of water that's running through it. But there is some. But yeah, I did have that put up on my list of stuff to talk about too. Was like the bear juice scene.
Yes.
Of where you've got like three soldiers
they're
held
handcuffed.
at held at gunpoint pretty much, and they're like talking about like, all right, Brad Pitt takes like the commanding officer and he goes like, all right, what I want you to do is take your finger, point out on this map where the rest of your squads are, how many there are, and what they're carrying. That's it. And then we'll discuss on terms of you leaving.
Yeah, we'll let you go.
Yeah. And then he was just like, no, I'm
Nope.
not going to do that. And he goes like, all right, I'm going to ask you this again. And then you just hear the clap of the bat hitting like metal and the wall
in the tunnel, yeah,
and stuff. And so he just goes like, now you've heard of us, right? And he goes like, yes. And he goes like, all right, well then you know that we have what you guys refer to as the Bear Jew. And he goes like,
What have you heard about him?
yeah, it's like, what have you heard about him? And he goes like, oh well, like because like especially where what is it? I can't remember specifically, but I think it was like right after some scene, like all of a sudden you just have Hitler just saying 999.
Yes, that was just before this scene.
Yeah, because like
it was after the introductory
they asked
scene.
a private about like what happened because he was the only survivor of his squad,
Yes.
and then he starts talking about this scene specifically, and he just goes like, oh, like he's because like there's two commanders that Hitler's talking to,
Yeah.
and he's all like talking about the Bear Jew, and he goes like, I don't want anybody to talk about the Bear Jew anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired of hearing about it.
I'm tired of this.
And it's so funny with Hitler being there and stuff like that, like because like I remember the trailer specifically of where it's like Hitler just saying 9999, and then it cuts to Brad Pitt saying, oh yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
So I'm just like, that trailer still sticks out in my mind with that, because like I'll sometimes be sitting there and then all of a sudden I'll just like think of Hitler saying 9999 and then Brad Pitt going like, oh yes, 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 yes,
Yes.
and then like that's it.
And then
But he starts talking about how like the Bear Jew is and stuff like that, and he just goes like, he doesn't have a club, he has a baseball bat.
yeah, it's like he kills Germans with a club, and it's like,
Yeah,
well, he
it's
beats
like-
them to death with a baseball bat.
I heard of the Bear Jew.
What'd you hear?
Beats German soldiers with a club.
He bashes the brains in with a baseball bat, what he does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like that's. Don't be so. Don't be so. Don't be so literal. You know.
right. And he just goes like, Eli Roth comes out, and I'm like, damn, Eli Roth is built for this movie. And I was like, because I often forget what Eli Roth looks like, because like he directed Hostel,
Yeah.
the Hostel movies, I should say, Green Inferno, a bunch of other ones. He's also produced several movies. He's also written several movies. But like those are the movies that really stick out to me, as well as Knock Knock, which has Ana de Armas and Keanu Reeves in it. So, kind of like a psychological, messed up movie, I'd say, in a sense. But yeah, I forgot that he directed that as well. But yeah, he just comes out and he's got just a white tank top on.
Yeah.
And he's got his baseball bat and he goes like, all right, well, this man is prepared to die for his country, so give him what he wants. He goes like, all right. So he just lines up the bat next to his head and he just goes like, oh, do you enjoy
Hugo, this man wants to die for country.
Yep.
Come out here.
Yep. And
just beats him to death.
Yeah. But he just goes like, oh, do you enjoy killing Nazis? Or not Nazis. Do you enjoy killing Jews? And he goes like, yes, it gives me great honor. Because like, it was the medal that he got.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was. He goes like, you get that for killing Jews? And he goes like...
I got it for bravery.
Yeah. He just goes like, And he just like knocks him upside
the head.
And he just starts beating the shit out of him.
They're all cheering.
Yeah, they're all cheering. And then, like, after he gets done, he starts going like, yeah, knock that one out of the park, and starts talking in a Boston accent about, like, baseball and stuff.
Yeah.
And
one of the guys gets up and starts to run, and they shoot him.
Yeah, they shoot him instantly.
Damn it.
And they're like, damn it, all right, bring him here alive. And so they bring him over.
It's the private that's left, and then they ask him, and then he immediately points out the map. And
right, and he just goes like, all right, I'm going to ask you. Because then he only speaks German.
Yeah, so they
he
bring
has
up
his friend that like is can be a translator for him.
Yeah,
and he just goes like, all right, tell him where they are, how many, and what they're carrying. And he goes like, all right, so speaks to him in German, and then he points out on the map, and he goes like, all right, how many? And he just goes like there's this many. He goes like, all right, what do they have? Go like, okay, and he goes like, all right, they've got this stuff, blah blah blah.
And then he asks, like, so what are you going to do after the war's over?
Yeah, and he goes, like, he's going to go home and hug his mom. And he just goes, like, I bet he's going to take off that uniform, isn't he? And he goes, like, yep, he's going to take it off and burn it.
Yeah, see, we don't like that.
Yeah, because, like, we don't want you to be walking around in civilian clothes and nobody knows what you did.
Nobody knows that you were a Nazi. Well, we got to make sure that everybody knows that you're a Nazi. So
right, and then
and they cut back to the scene with Hitler. It's like, what do they do? And then he lifts his hat up, and they drew a swastika into his forehead. That's hard. That's hardcore.
Oh yeah, and like especially with that scene, where Brad Pitt just goes like, "Oh, like I feel like I'm an artist." He just goes like, "This one might be my best one yet."
Well, that's the very last scene.
No. He said that the last one was his masterpiece.
Oh, okay.
Because
I think I got real talent for this.
Yeah. He goes like, "I'm getting better and better, don't you think?" He goes like, "Yes, sir, you are getting better about this."
Yep.
But yeah, and then we'll cut to where it's like the Germans want to have their movie party at the theater.
So they ask a theater owner in Paris to be able to house, like not so subtly ask her,
right?
But the person who owns the theater is Shoshana Dreyfus, who is a surviving member of the family who was killed in the morning. So she runs a theater.
Well, it's been like several years later.
Yeah,
I think
it's 4 years.
Yeah, it's 4 years later.
4 years later.
So now she runs a theater.
She was 18. Now she's like 22.
Yeah,
she runs a theater in Paris.
Yeah,
and she gets approached by a German private who's
is he a private?
I think so.
Because I know he's not like a commander or nothing.
No, I think they say he's a private.
Oh, okay.
It's a Private Stoller who is.
That's what it was.
Played by Zola.
Yeah, Arnim Zola himself.
But yeah, and then so they're talking in French, and he's trying to be very friendly with her, but obviously she can see that he's a Nazi soldier, and she doesn't want anything to do with them.
Yeah, because she despises.
She keeps brushing him off.
Yeah.
But he was just trying to, walk up with her, and she's just like, "Oh, I love the theater. I'm very big into I like Leni Riefenstahl."
Yeah, like I like these movies. I like these directors. Like, do you think that you'll ever show like these directors' movies?
I think so and so. This German actor is better than Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah,
because at this time, and she just wants absolutely nothing to do with them.
Yeah, because like he's trying to be friendly and talk to her and stuff, and then like it kind of then turns into him trying to be in a romantic relationship with her, and she doesn't want anything to do with him because, of course, he's a Nazi.
But also, she's also even if he wasn't a Nazi, she's already in a relationship. But he finds her later in a cafe, and he
because then he just like sits down and talks to her.
He still wants to talk with her, and she's like, I don't really want anything to do with you. And then all of a sudden, there's a couple of German soldiers who come up to him while he's in the cafe, and they recognize him. Yeah, and they shake his hand, they salute him. So what's that all about? I was like, well, turns out I'm a war hero, and I am in a movie, and it was about a movie where I was a sniper in this town, and I sniped
what he ends up talking about is that like he was a war hero and he did a bird's nest, and then basically explains to her what a bird's nest is, and then he goes like, oh, like I killed so many like soldiers that day,
he killed like 153 soldiers,
out of the span of like 4 days, and then they all left.
3 or 4 days, I think.
Yeah, and then because then she goes like, oh wow, like you must be really proud, and he goes like, yeah, kind of, whatever. And then he then says that like they decided to make a movie about that, and like it starred him. And so, like, it wasn't the fact that he was just a movie star; it was the fact that he actually did this, and then they wanted to make a movie. They
made a movie about me because I'm such a great war hero.
Yeah, and then they wanted to like exploit that pretty much, and because then he leaves. And so I think it's like the next day she's still like she's putting stuff up for the theater.
She's putting up like the letters sign for like the title of the movie up on the sign of the theater. And then a car pulls up and it's 2 Nazi soldiers that shove out and say, "Get in the car."
Yeah, they don't say anything. They don't like say, "Hey, like we'd like to talk to you." Like
get your ass in the car.
Yeah, just like get your ass in the car, because she wants to know what this is all about. And she's freaking out because, of course, she's Jewish. Nobody knows that she's Jewish.
Yeah,
so she thinks that, like, oh my god, like they're gonna kill me now.
Like somebody figured out who I am, something like that.
Right.
Like you have to think that's what she shouldn't say that. You can't
it's
hear
all inferred.
Yeah, there's no internal dialogue in this movie.
No.
That's what I think is great, because a lot of these movies are attempted to have characters be thinking to themselves during certain scenes, or they have like narration over the top of it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, speaking of narration, did you notice that there's a narrator?
Yes, the narrator is Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson, certain parts of it.
Yeah,
which I thought was hilarious.
In it a couple times, and I'm like, wait, Samuel L. Jackson was the narrator? And I'm like, well, it kind of makes sense because it is Quentin Tarantino, so he has to fit him somewhere in his movie.
It's so funny because the reason why Samuel L. Jackson is in so many Tarantino movies is because Reservoir Dogs came out, and Samuel L. Jackson really wanted to be in that movie, playing as the black guy that's in there.
Yeah.
And then he saw Quentin Tarantino later at like a film festival or something, and is like, I want you. He came up to Tarantino and was like, I really want to know I liked your movie. And it's like, oh, thank you. What do you think of the guy who played you? I was like, he was okay.
Yeah.
I was like, well, don't worry about that. I'm already writing up something for you. And then it was Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
So, and then he was in this movie, a small part, but then he was a big part in Django, and stuff like that. So, but I thought that was really funny when I saw that. But like in these movies, there's all of this. There's allowed to be silence.
Oh yeah.
In a scene.
Yeah.
While you can sort of imagine what the character is thinking, but it doesn't explicitly tell you what they're thinking.
Right, because then like. They drive her to the restaurant, and then they're all eating and stuff like that. They're all hanging out.
Zoller is there, and
then they ask her like, "We'd like to show our movie in your theater," and stuff.
More specifically, the person who is there is Goebbels.
Yeah,
I forget his first name. Who is Hitler's second in command, and he's charged of the Nazi propaganda.
Yeah.
Basically,
and that's what they want to do, is hold this film to give these Nazi soldiers and stuff like that like a big uplifting thing, to be like, hey, like, you know, like we're gonna do this, you know, blah blah blah, whatever, like, you know, we're superior, whatever.
And the whole reason that she's even there in the first is because Zoller told them basically
that she owns a theater, and it's like, oh well, I have a great idea, why don't we just like hold the movie there?
And she definitely doesn't want to do it. So.
And then they like ask her like how many like seats it has, like how big is it, how many what is it, like the seats that are on top, I forgot what they're called, but like
how many booths?
How many booths up top do they have? And so they're like, well, it's pretty small compared to like this theater,
to the Ritz.
Yeah, to the Ritz, and they're like, well, they'll still work.
Yeah,
and so Zoller basically explains it to him of being like, well, think about it. If this is going to be a small theater and this is only going to be for one night, you're going to have soldiers that are going to be fighting over these tickets.
Yeah.
Like, think of the impact that's going to have.
Yes.
And so he goes like, you know what? It's not a half bad idea. You know what? After the war, we'll talk about politics.
Yeah. You're going to be a politician someday.
Yeah. And then they're all about to leave.
And then
freaking Christoph Waltz
Hans Landa comes in right behind Shoshana.
Yeah.
And then they leave, and Hans Landa sits down because he wants to talk to Shoshana for a little bit because it's under the guise of, well, he's the security officer.
Right, he's the security officer.
He needs to talk to the owner because, like, Zoller tries to, like, stick behind because he likes Shoshana.
Right.
Emmanuelle Mimieux is what her cover name is.
Right.
So, but Hans, no, I need to talk to her because, you know, I need to know if the theater is safe just in case a lot of high-ranking officer comes in. And
right.
So that's his excuse to be able to get himself alone, which again is just so so crafty.
Oh yeah,
I love this character so much.
Yeah, because then it's like, okay, well, he must know that it's her, but he doesn't. He didn't.
We never
see,
get to.
He didn't see her face when she left the barn or left the farm and stuff.
But you can't shake the feeling that he does know somehow,
right?
Because of just how smart he is and how good he is at his job.
Yeah, because Zoller asks her like, "How did you get the theater?" And she goes like, "Oh, well, my aunt and uncle left it to me when they died."
And then he believes her immediately because it's like, what reason would I have to?
Yeah,
like,
and then he starts asking her questions of going like, "Okay, well, how did you get the theater?" And he orders strudel. And then he also goes like, "Oh, like we need cream. I forgot the cream."
No, but he I think he orders a drink and then he orders a glass of milk.
Yeah,
so that's the first hint that, like, okay, he
must know that she was there,
right?
And then she's like trying not to freak out this whole time because she goes like, "Okay, like he probably knows that it's me, that I left and everything."
Yeah,
and then he starts asking her questions, and then like they keep getting interrupted by the waiter. And he goes like, "Oh, like you were about to tell me about this." And she goes like, "Oh, yeah." And then she goes on to explain that like her grandfather died in a war, not her grandfather, her uncle died in a war, and then her aunt got sick,
I think.
And then they left the theater to her. And he goes like, "Oh, well, that's sorry to hear, like and everything, and blah blah blah." And
he also explains that like, "Oh, I have somebody who helps me with theater. He's
with
black,
the theater,
you know,
and stuff."
So.
Yeah, and so he goes like, "Okay, well,
probably have him not be seen,
right?"
So.
And so like probably don't have him work on the projection then, just like having you do.
We'll have to have you work the projectors.
Yeah, and so then he finally leaves,
and then you can
well originally he goes like, "You know what? I need to tell you something," and then he completely forgets what he was going to say.
And
he goes like, "And for the life of me, I can't remember what it was." And then he laughs, and then so he like walks out, and so she starts breaking down because she goes like, "I could not breathe that whole fucking time because I was afraid I was going to get got."
Yeah, like again, this is the man who killed your family.
Yeah,
basically. And put you on the run.
Right.
Like, I feel like Zola could have easily killed Shoshana.
Yeah.
Because in the ending scene of when she escapes, she crawls out the bottom, and Hans Landa sees her run away.
And he takes out his
Landa could have
Luger.
Easily killed her.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, but he just decided to let her go.
Or chased after her, but like.
He decided to let her go.
Just because, you know.
But yeah, and then we'll cut to the bar scene.
Yes. So,
because to set it up for people that haven't seen this, which you haven't, go watch it.
Operation Kino.
Yeah, Operation Kino, which is again our introduction to Michael Fassbender and Mike Myers.
One could even say that Operation Kino was her brainchild.
Indeed.
Got the gist?
I think so, sir. Paris when it sizzles.
That they are going to set up
Lieutenant Hickok.
That they're going to set up this this plan to get them into the theater because they find out that there's a big, huge like theater event that's going to happen where a lot of high-ranking German officials are going to be there. And they're like, well, we can hit all these birds with one stone, and like you're going to go in and
speak to our contact.
because before the war, he was a critic. He was a movie critic.
Yeah,
he has like a few. Film. Yeah, and he knows a lot about film,
specifically German film.
Yeah, and he also like has written books about like movies and movie reviews and stuff like that, and so they're like, you're gonna be the perfect fit for this outfit.
Which, by the way, Winston Churchill is in the room as well.
Right, and he just goes like, all right.
Because they ask him a bunch of questions about like what he did before the war, and then when they find out, Churchill's like, brief him.
Yeah,
so
brief him, and then they're like, okay, this is what you're going to be doing. Like, we already have U.S. people over there. You're going to help them. They're going to help you get into the theater.
The plan is they're going to meet up with their contact that is undercut, like basically is deeply entrenched with the Germans, and then they're going to help them get into the theater where they can be able to pull off all these like assassinations, basically, of all these German officials. And it's like, okay, well, who's the target, or who's the operative? And it's like, I think her name is Bridget von Hammersmark.
Yeah.
Her first name is like the German film actress that was working for the OSS.
Yeah,
so precisely.
Precisely.
And then so we get there, and then we find out that they're meeting in a basement.
Yeah, and Aldo just immediately just goes like, I fucking hate fighting. He goes like, I hate fighting in basements.
You said it was in a tavern.
It is a tavern.
Yeah, in a basement. You know, fighting in a basement offers a lot of difficulties. Number one being, you're fighting in a basement.
He goes like, well, we're not going to be fighting. He goes
what
like,
idiot thought of this plan?
Yeah. He goes like, if there's a basement, there's going to be fighting involved.
Yeah.
And he just goes like, well, how, like, because then Aldo starts asking questions about like, well, like, are there going to be Nazis in there? And he goes like, well, there shouldn't be. There should only be like French people.
Yeah.
And no Nazis, because that's what my contact said, is that there's no Nazis in there. And
if
he
shit
goes
goes
like, okay,
down, what do we do? And just like,
well,
just make sure that nobody else leaves, I guess.
And he just goes like, okay, well, if shit basically does hit the fan, just like prevent anybody from leaving, essentially, because he just goes like, oh yeah, like, because he goes up to Stiglitz.
Stiglitz.
Yeah, Stiglitz, and he's just sharpening a knife, and it's a pretty big knife, and he's sharpening it, and he goes like, hey, you should calm down a bit. He goes like, do I not look calm? And he just goes like, you know what? Now that you said that, you do look calm to me.
I need to know we can all remain calm. I don't look calm to you. Well, now that you put it like that, I guess you do.
And then he goes back to Aldo, and he just goes like, hey, so I'm worried about your boy over here, that he's going to fucking set shit off, okay? Because, like, later on, we find out that he was, like, being whipped because he was a German officer.
Yeah.
And then he went rogue, and then he started, like, basically killing
like,
them and stuff.
he's Austrian, so, like, he's...
Yeah.
Or, no, he's not. He is German, because he makes a... there's a guy in there that makes a comment about people's accents.
Yeah.
But
yeah, then, because then they go to the bar, and then, coincidentally, there are Germans that are in there. And
because it's
one of the privates.
It's Hickok and then the two bastards that speak fluent German.
Yeah, it's the interpreter that we saw earlier in the movie, Stiglitz and Hickok. And
they go down there, and von Hammersmark is with a bunch of German-speaking people.
Yeah, it's like it's four Nazis that are there.
And then
one of them, and the only reason why that they're there is because one of them just had their son born.
Yeah,
so they wanted to
celebrate,
celebrating. And their captain wanted to give them the night off so that way they can celebrate and stuff.
So Hammersmark is with them.
Yeah, and so like they're playing this card game where you have to guess like the fictional
It's heads up.
Yeah, it's basically heads up, and you have to guess like who you are. By giving yourself clues of asking questions,
which is very funny. That's a. I mean, I wouldn't think that people would have thought to play that game back then. So makes it kind of that game is old then in that case.
Right, and then because then they come down and then they all get set up at the table, and she goes like, "Hey, I'll be there in a minute."
Yeah.
And so she leaves, and so they start sitting down because they want to get information.
But now
about,
all of a sudden
stuff.
there's these Nazi soldiers that are here, so it's
Right.
like, well, great, now we got to be a little more discreet about this.
Right. And like this whole scene is just like great because it's super intense because it's like, oh great, like there's Nazis in here.
Yeah.
Like what's gonna happen? And it's like surely something's gonna happen. And they're all
trying to talk,
stuff.
and then
the guy that has the kid comes over and he goes like, hey, like I don't mean to intrude, but like can I get your autograph so that way I can have it for my son? And excuse me. And when he sits down and he starts talking to her and stuff like that, and so Michael Fassbender just goes like, hey dude, like you're intruding, we're just trying to have a good time here, like can you fuck off? And he just goes like, oh okay. And so like basically he's pulling rank on him, and he just goes like, hey, you're a private, go back to your table because this is only for like corporals and high rank.
It's an officer's table.
Yeah, it's like last time I checked, you're not an
shouting.
officer. Yeah, and then there's a guy that speaks up who's around the corner.
He's a major. He's Major Hellstrom.
Yeah,
he's like one of the top.
He's
he's a major of the SS.
Right, and
of course he's here too.
Right,
like we could probably have gotten away with
and he's drinking a boot too.
Yeah.
So
we probably could have gotten away with tricking these lower officers that were at like these
like
lower
they're high
that
official
were
ranked officers.
But now there's an actual officer here.
Yeah.
So it's like that throws another wrench into the plan.
Right.
So now they got to be able to improvise.
Right.
On the spot.
The whole thing, and then like especially where he just goes like, where the private goes like, you know what, you don't sound German. Like, where's your accent from? And blah blah blah. Like, where are you from? He just goes like, why are you questioning me as a higher ranked official above you? And then he
comes out and is like, you know what? I'm also curious.
Yeah, and he goes like, why do you have a strange accent? Because I can't place it.
They can't be as combative with this guy because he's a major, so they have to now instead of just like dismissing it like don't matter not
don't bother me, I'm above your rank, so like why are you questioning me? And then he Michael Fassbender explains like, oh, like have you seen this movie? Like my family was in that movie, and that's why, because we're from this
mountainous region of Germany, and it's like,
and so it's like that's the reason why that we have this accent and everything. And
he buys that.
Like, oh, so. Okay. Like, yeah, like, I've seen that movie. Oh, so you were them. Okay.
And then the major sits down and is like, you know what? Like, that game seems pretty fun. Why don't we play?
Right.
And then they play around, and then it's so funny seeing Stiglitz sitting.
And
he's sitting next to the major, and then he's slapping him on the, like, Stiglitz on the back, and like.
Yeah, and then it cuts to in his mind of being whipped and stuff,
like,
but
it's
like
taking
you don't
everything it has to be able to not to blow this guy's.
Oh yeah,
out,
100%. Because then he finally like snaps out of it, and like he's just super serious the whole time too.
Yes.
And then
they put like they
he guesses that he's King Kong.
He's King Kong, so
and
like
he goes like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like I won." And it's like, "Okay, who's next?" And he goes like, "Well, I don't mean to intrude, but like you are kind of intruding on us."
And then he sat back. He's like, "Well, actually, you know, it's up to her if I want to be excused and if I'm intruding."
Right.
And it's like, I'm just kidding. Of course I am.
Right. He goes like, "Well, you know, like we've had a long trip. Like, you know, we want to catch up and blah 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 and whatever." And he just goes like, "Oh, it should be up to her decision that I'm intruding or not." And so he goes like, "Am I intruding?" She goes like, "No, you're not." And he goes like, "Yeah, see, it's up to her to basically dismiss me." And then like it gets serious, and he goes like, and then he laughs and he goes like, "I'm just fucking with you. Like I know that I'm intruding. I know that I'm being an asshole. Like I'll leave you guys to it."
Before I go, let's order some drinks. I'll order you guys some drinks. You must try this whiskey.
Yeah, it's like 33-year aged whiskey.
And then it's like, how many do we want? And
he goes like 3 glasses.
Yeah,
and he brings up 3 glasses, and he just goes
specifically
like,
for audio listeners, he brings up the 3 sign, and it's the ring finger, the middle finger, and the index finger.
Yeah,
and that he pulls up the 3 sign like that.
And then later on, we realize this too of why this was all set off is because that Germans usually bring up 3 fingers with
the
their
middle
thumb.
finger, the thumb, and the index finger. That's a 3 in Germany.
Right.
3 Gläser.
And any other three looks weird. So
that's what tipped him off of being like, okay, you're not really a German officer.
At the time, you have no idea why. So
right.
It's like,
and it's all like, okay, but why? And like, even when that scene came up, I was all like, I know that there was a thing about the three fingers. What was it? And then it was explained later on to Aldo and stuff.
No, but like a first time watcher who doesn't really understand anything about German culture, or like how things are done in Europe, would be really confused. Like, why is this guy all of a sudden like not trusting? I thought we were all good friends, and then von Hammersmark explains it later.
Yeah,
because you can actually see on his face that. He
immediately like drops and he gets serious, and he just goes like, "All right, I know that you're not really German, or you're not really an officer." So he
pulls out his Luger and points it at like.
At his testicles,
his balls, yeah.
And then he's like, because he goes like, well, I've had my gun. Yeah.
Hickok is like, balls. Well, it looks like you pointed out yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so
and then he tries to play
it around for a second.
Can I tell you something? And then he goes like, what's that? And he goes like, I've had my firearm ever since you sat down, pointing at your balls.
And then Stigler puts it,
directly into his freaking balls, and he just goes like, well, you know what? We got 2 against 1 here. So,
but and then he's like, well, you're not going to leave here alive, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and he just goes like,
well, if I'm going to go down, he speaks in English now, because they're all speaking in German up until this point.
Right.
I might as well go down speaking the King's.
Right.
He drinks the drink and is like, you know, that's actually pretty good.
Right. And then he just like shoots him right in the balls, and then they all shoot each other.
And then the bartender pulls out his gun.
Yeah, pulls out his shotgun from behind the bar, and then just starts unloading onto everybody. And then everybody's just shooting at each other.
Yeah.
And then you have the one private that just had the kid. He pulls out the machine gun and just starts blasting everybody.
Yeah.
And then so she's still alive. And then he's about to shoot her, and then Aldo comes in. Like from the staircase, and you just hear him, but you don't see him yet. He just goes like, "Hey,
anybody allowed down there?
What's going on?" And he just goes like, "Hey,
who are you? American?"
Yeah, and he just goes like, "American, German, what are you?" And he just goes like, "American."
American.
He goes like, "All right, like, what are you doing?" And he goes like, "Well, we're the shooting, so we're here to see if any of our guys alive.
Any of our guys alive down here?"
I was like, no. And so she goes like, I'm alive. He goes like, you shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And he goes like, hey, right there, she's with us. If you want us to get out of here alive, put down your firearm, and we got that trust.
I want to trust you.
Yeah.
I was like, if you shoot me, there's going to be a bunch of guys throw grenades down there and everybody dies, okay?
Yeah. Because then he starts coming down and he goes like, hey, what's with the gun? And he goes like, I thought that we had a trust.
We had some trust here, you know?
Goes like, you shoot me, I'm dead, and then my guys up at top will throw down grenades, and then you're dead. And we don't want any of that. And he goes like, we don't want your son. We want your son to be playing catch with his daddy.
With his daddy.
So
it's so funny listening to Brad Pitt speak in a southern accent to Germans, because they're like, it must be such a weird accent, because they're used to like the most common form of English they're used to is probably British English.
Yeah.
So for someone to come speaking in a southern drawl,
right?
Like I want to see you playing catch with his daddy, you know. And so the private puts the gun down, and then
he immediately gets shot because she shoots him. And then they take her
to a veterinarian,
and they're like going to take out the slug out of her leg because she got shot.
Yeah.
And so they start asking her of like, okay, well,
what happened?
What was going to go down?
Because this is extremely suspicious. Not only were there a bunch of Nazis down there when there shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
They were in a basement.
When they were told that there weren't.
And now everybody is dead, including 3 of their guys.
Right.
2 of their guys who were really important to their whole mission.
Yeah.
And then the British officer, which is it's so sad that Michael Fassbender just like dies. He
was only in it for like
2 scenes.
Yeah, 20 minutes, and then that's it. And
it's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, it's like I know this must be very confusing. We've got a word for that in America. It's called suspicious.
Yeah. And
so what happened?
She then goes on to like say like, okay, I know what this looks like, but it's all up to you of what it actually is. And because she goes like, I know what it looks like, that you guys were set up because like there were Nazi soldiers down there.
Well, because she's German, so she
and so like she would be with the Germans, or it could be that this was just a coincidence.
Yeah.
So it's up to you on whether or not that's actually a coincidence or not.
And then she explains it like, well, the reason they got shot is because he held on the wrong freaking 3.
Yeah.
Which, again, is so dumb.
He ordered 3 glasses. We ordered 3 glasses. That's the German 3. The other looks odd.
It is.
What?
And so she goes like, and he goes like, well, what set this whole thing off? And he goes like, well, your guy held up 3 fingers to order 3 glasses of whiskey, held up the wrong 3 fingers.
This is the German 3.
This is the German 3. And anything other than that just looks strange. And so that's what tipped them off, and then that's what started the whole fiasco of the shootout. He goes like, okay, but what was going to happen after the whole exchange of information?
Well, we would have gotten I
would have given your guys the tickets to the theater, and then we would have made our way inside, and then we would have taken this whole thing down.
Right.
But now that's not going to happen. So Brad Pitt goes like, okay, well then we have to pivot. We have to come up with a new thing. And he goes like,
do any of your other people speak German? It's like, nope. We're all Americans here.
Yeah, we're all Americans. And so
like,
she goes like, well, do any of you speak another language besides English?
I speak a little bit of Italian.
And so she goes like, well, can you put on an actual Italian accent that isn't just like staged? And so he goes like,
I think I can do that.
He goes like, all right, well then I'll be your escort because I will speak the most Italian. Like basically,
the second one is Donnie.
Yeah, Donnie, who speaks the second most Italian.
And then the third one is like, oh, I don't speak any Italian. That's why you're the third.
That's why you're the third best. He
so
goes
like, they're gonna pose this.
Why don't you start? He goes like, so, which basically means shut the hell up. Why don't you start practicing right now?
Omar third most, he'll be Donnie's assistant.
I don't speak Italian.
Like I said, third best. Just keep your fucking mouth shut. In fact, why don't you start practicing right now?
So they got 3 Italian filmmakers, basically.
Yep.
Who they're posing as, along with Bridget Howard. It's like, okay, what are we gonna say about your leg? Well, I'm gonna say that I went mountain climbing.
Yeah, because a lot of Germans like to go mountain climbing. So
yeah. that was Ella Rain's suggestion, I suppose.
Yeah.
So
after all of that is all said and done, now they got the plan in motion. You got Hans that goes down to the bar.
But before that, like as they're setting this up, Shoshana has.
Oh yeah, she has. Yeah, because she
Shoshana
has
and
the
Marcel
plan.
have their own plan.
They had their own plan to burn down the theater with the Nazi soldiers in there and lock the whole building so that they can't escape.
Because their idea is that old film reel is way
way more flammable and 3 times as fast than paper.
Yeah,
because I remember that Samuel L. Jackson was talking about this, of going like, yeah, like there's a reason why that you couldn't bring film anywhere in public because it's really flammable.
Yeah,
like on a public transport or transit or like in a building or stuff. Besides a movie theater, and because like it burns 3 times as quick as paper.
Yes.
And so like that's going to be their ploy is to set fire to all this film.
They're going to burn down the theater with all of these.
She's got the most film in the whole country, I think. Or something like that.
Or no, she just has a lot of film.
Yeah, she just has a lot of film, and they're just going to set fire to all of it so that way
they're going to burn down the theater. So meanwhile, she's got that plan. Well, the bastards are going to just blow up some of the booth.
They're gonna like kill themselves by blowing up the theater.
Yeah,
because they have sticks of dynamite strapped to their ankles that we find out later on. And so like they finally go to the theater, and then we have the whole scene of where it's
Hans Landa walks up to Bridget. But before that, there is a crime scene investigation of the bar, and Hans Landa's there because he's a detective. Obviously, he's the security officer.
And then he finds her shoe. And he
not only does he find her shoe, but he also finds the
autograph.
The autograph with lipstick that says "From Bridget von Hammersmark to Max," basically. Right. So at this point, Hans Landa knows exactly, knows that she was there.
Yeah.
But he's not quite for sure. It isn't until he catches Von Hammersmark in a lie.
Yeah, because he goes like, "Oh, like what happened to your leg?" And she
like,
goes
"Oh,
like,
I
I broke it yesterday morning."
And he just starts laughing.
Yeah, he starts laughing for a couple minutes.
And like you
they're
can see,
deadpan.
like
They're just
he's like really cracking up.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like he's crying and stuff
Yeah,
because of how much he's laughing and how hard he is. And then he just goes like, "I'm sorry to laugh about your misfortune, but like I just think it's pretty funny."
I just think it's funny that you went mountain climbing. Which mountain did you go into in France, by the way?
Yeah.
Like, she could have said the Alps.
Right.
You know, she could have said something like that because like the Alps are pretty close to France.
Yeah.
Not close to Paris, but like he knows that she's caught her in a lie.
Yeah.
But she thinks she could probably still get away with it. And then he
then
starts talking to the bastards.
Yeah, he starts talking to the bastards in Italian.
Oh, these guys don't speak English; they're Italian. And then he speaks fluent Italian, and then you hear the most like southern, like the most like butchered accent from
because
Italian.
she introduces them by name, and then he goes like, "Oh, okay, like who are you? Who are you? Who are you?"
I'd like
and
to
he goes like,
pronounce your name again for me.
Yeah, and he goes like, "Golami."
Gorlami.
Mi scusi con me?
Gorlami.
Ancora una volta.
Gorlami.
He's just playing with them.
I just love the fact that he has him say Gorlami like 3 times. He goes like, "How do you pronounce your name again?" And he
just so we can hear how bad the accent is.
Yeah, he goes like, "What is it?" He goes like Gorlami.
Like,
he goes like one more time. He goes like
just
Gorlami.
takes so much pleasure in just
fucking with people.
Yeah,
like it's so funny, especially when he knows that they're fucked and he just like starts playing with them a little bit.
And then he
has
takes Von Hammersmark into a back room.
Right, and then he goes like, "Hey, like, I want to look at your foot real quick.
Yeah, please put your leg up on my knee here."
And he goes like, "Why don't you go into my pocket in my coat and take out what you find in there?" And then immediately she finds the shoe,
and she knows it's her shoe.
And she goes like,
too.
"Ah, fuck!" And so she takes out the shoe, and then he slips it on, and he goes like, "Well, you could say that it's a perfect fit."
Yeah, and he's in English.
Yeah.
And so what are we gonna do now, Colonel?
And so then he just like strangles her.
Yeah, just jumps on her and rails to death. Dials up a phone, calls up security and says, "Yeah, it's the guy in the white smoking jacket." And
and he just like gets tackled. He goes like, "Fuck!" and then like gets tackled. And that was actually a pretty good scene too of interrogation of when he has him and one of the
other privates.
The private, where it's Udovich.
Yeah, Udovich.
Yeah, Private Udovich.
Meanwhile, Donnie and the other guy are back in.
Yeah, they're in the theater because they're at their seats, and then like just the pan of them, like going from their head to their feet, and then the 3D effect of going like, okay, they have dynamite strapped to their ankles.
Yes.
Through their pants.
And then later on, they come to find out that, well, I mean, they know like Hitler is in the building.
Yeah, Hitler's there, and then even with Hans, he's talking to both of them, and he just goes like, "All right, well, I could get on this phone, and I could call security to have your boys like taken out, and then that way we don't have the theater to blow up, and then I could single-handedly save the war."
Yeah.
Or I could single-handedly destroy the war.
End the war. So it's like, man, I have so much power here. But so here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a deal that we can end the war tonight.
Yep.
And I want you to get on that radio, and I want you to call your commanding officers, and I want you to tell them, or want you to be able to talk to them, so I can tell them that, yeah, I want to be included in this little deal that you have, Operation Kino. I want basically immunity. I want to be have my name be told that I was an integral
I want
part.
my name in the history books.
I want you to tell them that I was a double agent the whole time.
Yep.
And that I actually planted the dynamite in Hitler's box so that I get the credit for killing him.
Right.
You know, and I want a little piece of land in Nantucket, and I want to be paid my salary as if I was an American colonel.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and then that's his whole plan. And they're like, "All right, like, you got it." He goes like, "Cool."
Yeah. And put me on with Lieutenant Rain. And it's like, "Yep, we're going to just take him to the American lines, and we're going to take him as our prisoner, and then we're going to try to get him back safely. It's like, all right, fine.
He was like, all right, you got it. And then, like, cutting back to where you've got, like what we mentioned before, it was like Zoller.
Zoller.
He comes up to the projection
because he's
booth.
tired of watching the movie because it's just footage of him killing people.
Yeah, and like he just can't take it anymore. And
so
then like he decides to like go after Shoshana
because Shoshana's in the middle of
setting stuff up,
setting up the projector.
Yeah, because like they filmed a snippet of film that she spliced in with the movie to where it's all like, oh, like I'm going to kill all of you.
And there are markers in the film that lets her know when to switch over the projectors.
Yeah, when to switch over the film and stuff like that to where it's going to start up and everything. And so he comes up and so he's trying to be cute and funny about it. And he just goes like, hey, I'd like a refund because the guy that's on scene is shit.
It's very shitty actors. Like, so you can't be here.
Yeah, she's like trying to dismiss him, and so she goes like, "You can't be here. Like, I'm trying to do stuff right now."
Yeah,
and he goes like, "Well, maybe I can help." And he just goes like,
"No."
She goes like, "No, like I don't need your help.
Like, please go away."
Yeah, and so,
and then he gets kind of pissy and is like,
"Well, yeah," because she goes
someone...
like, "Do you have a hard time of people saying no to you because you're such a German like influencer pretty much?" And so he like basically pushes the door open.
And like, I'm not somebody you say no to, which is again.
Yeah. And so she goes like, go and lock the door. And he goes like, what?
What?
And so she goes like, you know what? Never mind. And he goes like, no. Like, I'll go and do that. And so he turns around and he shoots her. Or she shoots him.
With the pistol that she has in her little purse.
And then
she goes to check on him.
Yeah, and then he turns over and shoots her a few times too.
And then they both kill each other basically.
Yeah, they both shoot each other.
She's already changed over the film.
Yeah.
So.
And then all of a sudden she comes up and
I have a message for Germany.
Yeah.
And it's like
that shit goes so hard that she just pops up and she just goes like, oh, I have a message to Germany. You're all going to die tonight.
This is the face of the Jew that will kill you.
Yeah.
And then burn it down, Marcel. We Shoshana.
And then
flicks a cigarette onto a pile of film.
Yeah, that's behind the.
And the screen starts to burn down, and it's Shoshana just laughing the whole time.
Oh yeah.
And even when the screen burns down, they're all trying to get out, but Marcel's locked the doors.
And then you've got like both Donnie and you've got what's his face.
Yeah,
they because Donnie goes up from their seats and he realizes that Hitler is there.
Yeah.
And he knows where he's at. And he just goes like, calls over the other guy and he just goes like, hey, come here. And so they go upstairs and he goes like, all right, Hitler's right behind that door. Like we gotta play this.
Guys.
Yeah, we gotta kill those guys to get to Hitler now.
So they attach these like pistols to their wrist basically. It's like there's like pressure sensitive where you just like punch a guy and it blows
and it shoots around. Oh yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Assassin's Creed
stuff. And like I thought that was really awesome. And then so he goes like, how quick can you get to like 50 feet or 60 feet or something like that? And he goes, I can get there pretty quick. And he goes, all right, I'm gonna need you to be quick. And he goes like, all right. So then he poses as a waiter.
Yeah.
And he comes up.
Would you like champagne?
He goes like champagne, and so he just takes it and he just like boom, just punches him and shoots him right in the head. And then here comes the other guy. He's like in slow motion. He runs up, boom, shoots him right in the side with it too.
The gunshots that are fired by those guys and by Shoshana and Zoller are masked by the film.
Right. And then like once it's all like burning down and stuff, everybody starts like making their way to like the doors that are like now jammed and locked and stuff.
And you can the projector is still projecting on the smoke.
Oh yeah, that's what I had written down too. I was like, that's really cool that like her face is in the smoke and stuff like that. I'm like, that was actually really cool. And
then the bombs
then you've got where they both burst into the door and then they shoot up Hitler and Goebbels and then they start shooting up all of the Nazis that are downstairs
and then they like shoot at Hitler's dead body and you can see like
then he gets blown apart in bits.
It's like
it's great,
like clay or plastic or something
So. And then they all just and then they continue to like unload on all of these Nazis that are there, and then they finally like leave. Oh no, they don't leave. They just sit there and shoot them, and then the whole building explodes.
The bombs go off and the building explodes.
So because like I was like, dude, like get out of there. Like what are you doing? Like you can easily leave.
No,
like,
I mean and then you realize, oh wait, that was never the plan because they had attached the bombs to their leg, which is freaking hardcore.
Oh yeah,
honestly. So
yeah, and then the whole thing about like, dang it, with them now like getting Hans to the American side, and they're like, okay, like we're gonna go ahead and do that.
Hans and his man, Werner, I think his name is Werner.
Yeah,
or something like that. They're driving the truck because they're making it like the Americans are prisoners, and then they get to the American lines and they switch roles.
Yeah,
and then as soon as
and then he goes like,
off,
he goes like, all right, like go ahead and handcuff him. And he goes like, wait, what? And
oh come on, that's not really necessary.
And he goes like, no, I'm really like good with authenticity. Like I want it to look real.
Then they shoot Werner.
Yeah, and then he shoots Werner.
He's like, "Are you mad?"
Yeah, I have it here because I wanted to get to that. He goes like, "Are you mad? What have you done? I made a deal with your general for that man's life." He goes like, "Yeah, they made that deal, but they don't give a fuck about him. They need you." And he goes like, "You'll be shot for this," because he thinks that like, oh yeah, like you went against your commanding officer, like you'll be dead. And he just goes like, "Nah, I've been chewed. Like,
I'll get chewed out.
Get chewed out.
I've been chewed out before."
You'll be shot for this. Nah, I don't think so. More like chewed out. I've been chewed out before.
And he just goes like, it's like that's not even the whole quote that they have up. Which I really thought that they would have, but I would have loved to have that whole thing here. Oh yeah, like that was the other thing too that we didn't talk about was before we get to like the big climb, like the end of this movie was like where Hans has both of them sitting down and like he's interrogating them because we totally bypassed this line of dialogue where he goes like, so I can infer that you are with the OSS. And like they don't say anything, and he just goes like, "Oh, that's a bingo!" And, and he just goes like, "That's how you say it, right?
That's a bingo."
Yeah, and he just goes like, "That's how you say it, right? Like that's a bingo."
We usually just say bingo.
And he goes like, "Bingo,
bingo."
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Is that the way you say it? That's a bingo.
You just say bingo.
Bingo! How fun!
Like that was really funny.
He's such a goober.
He is. He's like super. He's like super intelligent and like he's super quick.
Like he just loves playing with his food, which makes the last part of the film like so great when he's on the other foot.
Yeah.
Like the one plan that he's he's now on the end of a plan that doesn't go his way.
Right.
Because he's such a mastermind of like setting things up and being able to make sure that like in any dynamic that he has, Landa has the power, has the control over the situation.
Right.
And now he's handcuffed. And at first it's like, okay, that's a little weird, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Like there's nothing else that could go wrong. And then they shoot him and it's like, oh, well, this is out of hand.
Yeah. And then especially where he just goes like how do you say it? Like, basically like trying to say like the shoes on the other foot. He goes like, what was the thing about like shoes and feet and stuff? He goes like the shoes on the other foot.
Yeah.
And he just goes like, that's what it is. And but I'm trying to find this
because he thinks the whole time that he's gonna get away with it. That this is another one of his master plans. That's gonna like he's gonna be able to get to America. He's gonna have immunity, and it's like now not only do I get to escape persecution. Or like if I'm gonna escape judgment for being a part of the Nazi war because I know that this plan of theirs is pretty good, that they're gonna end the war by killing Hitler.
Yeah.
So not only am I gonna avoid punishment, I'm also going to be able to set myself up pretty well, and I'm going to be go down in history as a person who was actually part of this whole plan to begin with, even though I'm probably as bad as any Nazi that there is.
Okay, so I finally found the quote, but he just goes like, "Oh yeah, me and Yudovich like heard the deal that you made with the brass, like about ending the war tonight. Like
you take that deal, Yudovich."
He goes like, "Yeah, I'd make that deal."
Damn good deal.
Yeah, he goes like, "Oh yeah, you make that deal, Yudovich? I'd make that deal." While he's like he's scalping
he's scalping
German
the
officer,
other guy that they just killed,
and he just goes like, "I don't blame you. Damn good deal."
I'll make that deal. How about you, Yudovich? You make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
Damn good deal.
And then he starts asking him like what they did in the one private earlier in the movie of being like, oh, like what are you gonna do like when you get your
like,
little cottage and stuff in Nantucket?
Let me ask you one thing. Like, that cottage in Nantucket, once you get there, you're probably gonna take that uniform off, aren't you?
Yeah.
See, I don't like that.
Yeah, and he goes like, we don't want you to be walking around like a free man and
people not knowing what you did. Yeah. So we're gonna give you something a little bit to remember by.
Yep. And then we finally see what they've been doing, of like how they're putting the swastika on the forehead.
Yeah, and also I like how Londa was playing with Rain's knife.
Yeah.
On the drive over, it's
right.
a big freaking knife.
It is. Yeah.
So and then he takes the knife back from Londa's pocket.
Yeah.
At the end, and then
he gave it to him.
Yeah, he gave it back.
Because
Can I have my knife back, please?
Yeah, and he goes like, oh yeah, here you go. So yeah, and then he uses that, and he just goes like, you know what? I think this might be my masterpiece. He goes like, you know what, sir? I think you're right. And then it ends. So and then that is the end of Inglourious Basterds.
Long movie, a lot of talking in it.
Yep, a lot of talking, a lot of dialogue, but it's so good though.
It's so good.
Which speaking of, we'll get to our consensus on the movie of this being a rent, buy, or a skip. Hence the reason why this is called RBS in the first place. So, what do you have to say about it?
Well, it's a buy. Fuck yeah! Man, it's a Tarantino movie. Most of them are like that.
Right.
But it can be a bit of a tough watch, I would say, because there's a lot of subtitles and reading and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I saw that it's like 30% of the movie is spoken in English,
and the other 70%.
Like the other stuff is speaking in like German and French.
Either German or French.
So
it can be it's a movie you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
You have to.
But you can't just scroll on your phone. You can't be doing other stuff.
Unlike other things where it's a lot of the stuff is subtitled, basically, you are rewarded for paying attention in this movie because you get the dynamics of the good dialogue and the great character moments between like Hans Landa. Christoph Waltz is just the best part of this film for me.
Yeah.
I could watch this movie so many times just to like listen to his performances, which makes it kind of sad, like because of the fact that this movie is in different languages. So much of it, it's really hard to find clips of it.
Oh yeah, because
oftentimes, I'm glad that the subtitles are baked into the film, because if they weren't, then this movie would be really hard to find unless you have like a dedicated copy of it.
Right.
And I think because of that, it kind of lends it toward the buy argument that you're really, even if this movie wasn't as good, or if this movie wasn't as good as it is, you'd still want to buy it because of the fact that you have dedicated subtitle support.
Yeah.
But it's just a great drama, and it's also a little bit silly at times.
Yeah.
Which adds to it has to cool some of the tension off that happened in this movie, because otherwise it's just like nonstop stress, basically.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like watching The Bear almost.
Right. It's where it's just a lot of chaos is happening. You have no control over it, and you'd like to, but you just can't.
It speaks to Quentin Tarantino's writing style, that as serious as things get sometimes, that he oftentimes has to break it up.
Yeah. With
these funny, goofy moments, even
right, breaking up the tension. It's all like, oh my god, that was actually pretty funny.
The thing that comes to mind in a Tarantino movie is the scene in Django where the guys in white hoods come and
they
come
like
to kill Django and Schultz,
the KKK members,
and they're talking about how much their
fucking shit out this
they're
thing.
talking about how much their masks suck because they were homemade and stuff like that. It's like that's extremely funny.
Oh yeah,
given the subject matter, these are white supremacists about to go kill a black guy.
Yeah,
and a German. So
yeah, that scene is hilarious to me. I think I might watch Django after this. Honestly,
Django
it's been forever since I've seen it.
I still think
have it.
I think Django is still my favorite Tarantino movie, but this one is still really good.
I own 3 Tarantino movies. I own The Hateful Eight because I saw that in theaters and I really liked it. I have
Gotta watch that.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think if I remember, it's still on Netflix. I could be wrong. I know that they made like a special thing to where it's like extended, so it's like four episodes of it is what it is. And then because it's longer, so I don't know why they broke it up into 4 sections, whatever. And then I also have Django Unchained, so pretty good. Anything else?
Nope.
For your consensus?
What would you say about this?
Well, for me, I would also give it a buy.
Fuck yeah!
Because not only is it a Quentin Tarantino movie, and he's a really good filmmaker, he's a really good director, writer, everything. He's kind of a so-so person in real life, I guess. But no, like I really enjoyed this movie because of the fact of like it's a different take on history.
Yes.
Because like there's and like what we talked about earlier was like there's a few of his movies that he takes on a different twist on a certain part of history that has happened. Like the whole thing at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where Sharon Tate is supposed to die, she actually lives.
Yeah.
And they actually take out the cultists that are of the Charles Manson murder.
An extremely brutal scene.
Yeah, 100%. Because like freaking with Brad Pitt where he's sitting there and he has a cigarette that's laced with acid.
Yeah.
Because he got it from a hippie in the movie. And he's like smoking it. And so like he's high. And he goes like, wait, are you real right now? And like they burst into his house. And so they're like, I'm the realest motherfucker you're ever going to meet. And he just goes like, oh, okay. And then like the one girl is like running at him with a knife. It's been forever since I've seen it.
And he throw a can?
Yeah, he has a can of dog food because he was about to feed his dog. He takes the can of dog food, throws it like a football at her face, and then breaks her nose. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
And then the dog like bites off
the dude's balls and stuff. Like it's so great.
I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's business.
Yeah.
Text.
Yeah. So great. But yeah, like which he should be coming out with a new one. It's going to be a sci-fi movie. This is what I've heard. I've heard speculation that it's going to be a sci-fi movie that's going to be about Star Trek. But I don't know if that's true. Nothing has come out as of recent. So he might still be producing it. He might still be working on it. I don't know. But no, like the actors are really good. The storyline is really good. I really enjoyed the take on World War II because World War II has always been fascinating to me ever since I was a kid. It's always been fascinating to me of like the history behind it, all the bunch of stuff that's going on, whatever. And this actually gives a big fuck you to that whole thing of being like, well, what if the Russians never got involved? What if, the Germans actually did a propaganda film to have them all in this? And what if, they actually did kill Hitler instead of him like dying by his own hand in the bunker and stuff that he had and whatever. So like that to me was interesting on that take of history. But like, you've also got like great scenes like the bear juice scene or like the bar scene or like even the theater scene. It's like those ones always stick out to you once you talk about Inglourious Basterds.
I still think that it's the opening scene for me that really does it for me.
Yeah, the bear juice scene,
at
the farm.
When he's talking with Lapadite in the farmhouse. When we're first introduced to Hans Landa,
right, is
what really sets the tone of what this film was about.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because then it just starts off with Inglourious Basterds, and then that's it.
Yes,
and then it starts off from there. And then you're just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And this also like pretty much, I would say, off the top of my head, I can infer that like this is what sets the tone for a lot of these kinds of movies. Because like you've also got Guy Ritchie that made the Unsportsmanship of Ungentlemanly Warfare, whatever it's called. The really long title of with Henry Cavill and Alan Richardson. And so like it's basically the kind of the same thing of where you've got the small team of allies that they are going into German warfare and they're going to basically take out all of these German high-ranking officials and that's their mission. Like that's what they're doing. So And it's all like they're not the best of people, but they get the job done in the most horrific way possible, and that's what's great. Which I might watch that too. I don't know. But yeah, and like for all those, I'd say that it's a buy, as well as like some of the biggest quotes is like the bear juice scene.
Yes,
like that's a great quote. Of course, like we're in the Nazi killing business, and cousin, business is booming. And then you've got like the whole thing of going like Gorlami.
Gorlami.
So that's just funny, and he's like,
Brad Pitt's
that's
just,
a bingo.
He's just
like,
such a comedic relief character.
He is. Like, have you seen you've seen Bullet Train, right?
I've not. I still need to.
So good. I actually have it, so I have it on digital.
That's another good
as
Brad
well.
Pitt movie.
It's a really good Brad Pitt movie. Like it's so good. But yeah, and then also like the last one of going like, I'll take that deal. Damn good deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
Like that's a great quote too. And so for all those reasons, it's a buy for me. So let's get on to suggested people, and then we'll talk about what we're talking about for next week.
Yeah.
So I had a few, but because of time, I'll just leave it off with this one. So basically what we do is that we'll go on IMDb, take a 1, 10, if not both star review, depending on what we talk about for the movie, on what people said about the movie. So in this case, we said it's a buy, so we're going to talk about 1-star review and see what we have. So this one is talking about the worst American movie ever made. The Americans, as usual, are the good guys, and the Germans, the bad guys. But in this movie, the Yanks win by being more treacherous and brutal than their adversaries. They are supposedly of Jewish origin, which makes them good guys. But that's a flimsy excuse for sadistic violence. And the setting and plot has only a remote resemblance to whatever could have happened in France in 1944. You can, of course, make a fantasy movie about Merlin or about Caribbean pirates just for entertainment, and nobody cares about historical accuracy. World War II is now just background scenery for those who enjoy senseless violence. I found the movie disgusting and even worse, boring.
What is bro yapping about? What are you talking about?
It's all like,
yeah.
What do you mean? It's all like, okay,
it's not historically accurate.
It's not historically accurate, which is prevalent of the fact that like there is a story about the Inglourious Basterds, but and that's what made this movie. Is that story?
It's based on it.
Yeah. And so like that's what Quentin Tarantino wanted to do, but like twist the narrative a little bit of what they did. So, but like to say that the Americans are the good guys and the Germans are the bad guys, that's what they were in that time.
They are.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, as usual. It's all like, because like they're talking, like he's talking about as usual, the good guys are the Americans, the bad guys are the Germans, and of course it has to be in World War II.
No. The thing that assists me out
Dude,
is like
your take is not good. You don't have a good take here. What are you talking about?
It's the line that hit they're supposedly of Jewish origin, which makes them the good guys, but that is a flimsy excuse for domestic violence. It's a little bit of anti-Semitic undertones. You got there a little bit,
and it's the fact that they're talking about that. The reason why that they're having sadistic violence against the Germans is because of the fact that they are Jewish,
right?
Yeah, and it's like
it's supposed to be.
Yes,
it's irony.
Yeah, that's what it would be. Like, honestly,
it's actually, you know what it is? It's called poetic justice.
Yeah, because it's all like, you don't seem to realize the Germans in World War II, they were sadistic fucks. Like, they didn't care about anybody except for themselves.
Yeah,
they thought of themselves as the master race, and so they just wanted to abolish all of these people. Like, that's what they wanted to do, and then take over the world. And it's all like, so once you are faced with somebody that is fighting back of people that you've been abolishing this whole time, that they start fighting back and they do 10 times as worse than what you've been doing, like, yeah, of course they're going to take that extra mile.
It's not supposed to be historically accurate. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be a what if scenario,
right?
Like what?
It's like maybe this stuff happened, but maybe it didn't. But I know that I think that there is an actual documentary about the Inglourious Basterds themselves,
right?
So but it's not this extent, it's not this extreme, I don't think, but like, you know, it's whatever. But like, especially when they're talking about like, you can of course make a fantasy movie about Merlin or about Caribbean pirates,
what are you talking
just for
about?
entertainment. And it's all like, because we don't have I don't think that we have accurate things about like pirates though. That's my thing. And it's like, maybe we do, and I just don't know. But like, as far as I'm aware, I don't think we do. But it's like, why are we talking about like Merlin and the Knights of the Round Table, and
why
are we talking about the Pirates of the Caribbean, like for a World War II movie?
This is not a fantasy movie.
Yeah, it's like this is what potentially could have happened. Like this is potentially real of what actually happened in that setting.
This is a war drama, but it's not like it's historical fiction.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like war is disgusting. War is like sadistic, and it is violent, and it is gory.
And again, it's sort of hyperbolic because we really want to sell the impact of like, man, it would be nice if the shoe was on the other foot.
Right.
I'm sure a lot of Jewish Americans at the time were thinking that, man, I want to go over and kill some Nazis because they were killing people. And stuff like that. So like
100%.
So I think that it's very cathartic, really.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, when was that review written?
2009.
Okay, I get that though, like that because that was a big sentiment of like nowadays we are totally desensitized to violence.
Yeah.
Right. Violence is everywhere now. Violence, like people like they're trying to make, videos and movies even more violent now. Like this is pre like I feel like. Deadpool was definitely a thing for the modernization of portrayal of sadistic violence in movies and TV. But now we just see it everywhere. It's so passed off. But like back then, violence in media was definitely what was still in the area of like let's try to censor that as much as we can.
Right.
And then you have this movie where it's just like 2009. Quentin Tarantino, he's just like, nope, we're just gonna do as much as we can. I mean, it's rated R for a reason,
right?
So
for violence and gore and language and smoking and whatever
watching
else.
A rated R movie, that's what you're getting yourself into, is what I'm trying to say. Like that, I love reading some of these 1-star reviews and just seeing like just the
seeing how dumb these people are,
horrendously bad takes,
Yeah, for sure.
So,
anything else on the movie?
Nope. I think that's a long time coming.
Yeah,
talking about this for almost 2 hours.
Right. So with that being said, thank you everybody so much for watching, listening, tuning in, whatever you guys are doing. And next week we actually have the last summer movie blockbuster.
No wheel this time.
No wheel this time because it's the last one. Which next week we're going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one. So we're going to talk about that next week. So
probably the most different movie. I'll say it again, probably the most different tone movie.
Yeah, it's like flipping a coin, and then it's all like you have something that's super violent and gory and everything, and then you have one that's like super kid friendly and like
it's Sonic flossing.
It's a super family film. So, but yeah,
oh boy,
look out for that one next week, and be sure to leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section below of what you guys thought about Inglourious Basterds. If you guys liked it, what you guys thought about it, as well as like any suggestions on movies that you guys want us to talk about. So there's that. Be sure to share this around with other people that would enjoy our show as well, and subscribe to the channel and on Spotify. But I don't know, I'm thinking about not posting anything on the Spotify anymore.
Okay.
So because like I don't have any listeners on there, and like nobody's subscribing, so I don't really know. The only people that actually subscribe are people that are on YouTube, and we applaud you and we thank you for that anyway.
If further down the line you want to see it more on Spotify, we can.
And I do actually do the videos on Spotify as well, because I can do that. So it's not just audio that's on Spotify; it's also video.
If there's enough of a.
But if people still want to enjoy this on YouTube, then we might just make it just a YouTube exclusive thing. I don't know.
Right.
So, but yeah, let us know about that in the comment section below too. So, but yeah, talking for long enough. So we'll see you guys next week for Sonic.
So, bye.
Bye.